Welcome back to Strapzy's Shed. Now the build is done, it's time to evaluate it, I guess. I'm sure Suzuki wouldn't be too upset when I describe this as a basic base model bike. The suspension's moderately spec'd, it's not bad, but once you start getting that front end and the back end bouncing around on rocks and bits and pieces on rough dirt roads, then it needs a little bit more. It's a really good proven package. That DL 650 motor goes right back to the TL series, thousands, relatively bulletproof. My only criticism would be that I wish the engineers had put a little bit of effort into making it sound good. So we've got a bike that it's got good bones, lighter than the 1000. For $12,000, it's a lot of motorbike. Occasionally I'd like a little bit more grunt, but in the real world, it's still pretty quick. The main aim was protection, really, on this build. If I'm going to take this bike on dirt roads, now, this isn't any Simpson Warrior. It's something I bought to knock over some Ks. Bark busters to protect levers because, let's face it, you go on dirt roads, you're going to fall off. And I'm pretty good at the low speed tumble. So being a lot of plastic that is held together by a lot of other plastic and occasionally screwed to other plastic, it needs protection. So crash bars are really important. I use the SW Motec ones because I've used them before. They're much more robust and better braced, as I've said before, than the others. And they do come up high enough to protect the bodywork up around the edge of the tank and the nose. A bash plate, again, was essential. Suzuki, in their wisdom, have always placed that oil filter right out in the breeze and the front header pipe as well, right through the front. So that reduces ground clearance. Other protection, things like heated grips. I've got really poor circulation in my hands from probably noisy like Ducati machinery, I suppose. So what have I done with the shocks? The front end went to suspension rust and has got low extinction, progressive springs and gold valve emulators. I find gold valve emulators tend to not cope with those first 5 to 10 mil of movement, that high speed compression stuff, so they tend to be a little bit chattery on the open road. I've had a number of bikes now that have all been the same, so it's going to be interesting. Izzy's keen to work with me to see if we can't work our way through that. The rear end, we've put a Wilbur shock on it, and man, it's good. I really like it. The original rear shock is not bad, but the Wilbur's is fantastic. The front forks are a little bit thin for mine, so another $100 gets me a fork brace, and I think it's worth it. The other part of the build was luggage capacity, of course, so a set of our asymmetrical panniers go on it with a set of our frames, and one of the new generation SW Motec Adventure rear racks. So out on the open road. Still noisy as far as the wind noise from the front of it goes. I reckon it's a lot of these beaked adventure bikes tend to be noisy at the front. Having nothing to lose, I sliced a massive amount off the original screen because I was pretty close to throwing it in the bush anyway. Just get out the angle grinder and chopped a bit off and sanded the edge nice and neat. I've now got more of a foil or a bikini type screen. The basic architecture and the handling of the bike I'm really impressed with. It's accurate, it works, it just works. I can use all the tyres and a bit more, and I always feel comfortable and in control. It doesn't really scare me. It's a really nice balanced package now. The original tyres, the Battle Axe Adventure A40s, they're actually really good. Obviously they don't have much grip for off-road, but on-road they handle better than most Bridgestones I've used, and they feel pretty good in the wet. Pretty chuffed with the wire wheels. They have had a couple of big hits and don't look any worse for wear. The SW Motec City tank bag, the jury's still out on that for me. It's a nice tank bag, it's beautifully made, but my tank bags you don't have to remove to refuel. SW Motec City tank bag comes off really well, but you've got to find somewhere to put it, on the seat, on the Bowser or whatever. Clips on really quick and easy, but I really like the Safari pod in that you don't have to touch it. just put fuel in the bike and continue on. So I've approached this bike as a base, something to build from. Good chassis. It's got really good bones.